G'day everyone, welcome back to the wild ride that is the ESL Pro League China Closed qualifiers. Already we've seen Tyloo dropped into the lower bracket by Vici, now MVP on the precipice of being knocked into the lower bracket, and this is seed 1 and 2 I'm talking about. Ehome, a team that came through from the open qualifier, Vici, another team that came through from the open qualifier. So this is definitely not the storyline, this is not the way that it was supposed to go. But right now, the open qualifier teams are really doing some damage.
So the simulation is running as we expected.
Yeah.
Then. This is, I don't understand at all. I mean, that was MVP on map 1 looking just absent. They just, like, they had a few players hitting shots, but none that really had any consequence in the round. Like, they get an opening pick that was really nice and then just get rolled the rest of the round. And they'd have crossfire set up, but didn't work. They'd have bait set up since someone would peek early and then they weren't being baited anymore. And it was just, I don't know. It was not the MVP that we're used to, that's for certain. Yeah,
Zion definitely did go missing a little bit as well. He's generally speaking the star performer for MVP and most definitely was not there. And Minizetto had an okay time. I thought Solo had an okay time as well, but the positions that MVP continued to put themselves in were not good at all. Like you said, they got the opening picks, but for some reason they weren't able to close the rounds out from there. I would love to see the conversion rate as to how many opening kills they got versus how many rounds they actually ended up getting, because typically you're looking at something like 75%, 80% of those rounds that you do get the opening frag in, you should be winning. But I don't think it was even close to that for MVP. It would have even maybe been below 50%.
Well, I think the very first round they got an opening pick and they lost. And that was like round 5 or something on their T side, which is where the previous few rounds they've been getting AWPed through like a really narrow angle from Arch by
Destroyer.
Destroyer, yeah, thank you. And then they were like, all right, they gave an AWP to Minizetto. He sprinted up mid and killed a player falling back as they went through jungle. Then they paused. And normally when you pause, it's to let players rotate from B, and you can then send someone over to B. But all they did was they sent someone down to make sure they weren't pushing banana, and then went back A, which of course now had 3 players on it, and they got wrecked. So like, it was just these weird little decisions where it's like, they allow time for the rotations to happen, which is what you normally do when you want to push and pull and play with the rotations, and then just walked into the stack that they knew they just created.
Yeah, anyway, I mean, we're moving on to our next map now, which is Dust2, and for both of these two teams, it's kind of up in the air. Like, I was just having a quick look at the stats for MVP on this map in the break there, and, you know, like I said earlier, they've lost 3 times in the last 3 months. That hasn't changed. They haven't played since I last looked at the stats, and I was thinking, okay, maybe because MVP's been playing internationally a little bit, we're ragging on their Dust2 a little bit. And to be fair, in the last 3 months, they did face MIBR and Virtus Pro on the map, and I think the other team that they lost to might have been 5 Power. So I guess, okay, fair enough. But then I looked at their entire history on Dust2, just for the hell of it, and they actually have never won on Dust2 in recorded history.
Really?
On HLTV. And they haven't played a lot of it. They've played 6 maps of Dust2,
Ouch.
you know, back in the day, and to now that Dust2's back in the pool. But they've never won on it, at least from what's been recorded. So that's obviously not a great statistic.
And that means that the Dust2 pick here is one of potentially a couple things.
Yeah.
1, it's like, whatever, we'll play it. We can probably out-aim them. 2, it's Inferno's easy, we'll win that, and then we'll just steamroll them because we have confidence. Or 3, it's, oh, we've got Nuke and Inferno. We'll win those 2 maps. We'll take Dust2 to Prac, right?
I guess.
If it's the 3rd reason, they're in trouble because they lost Inferno. If it's the 2nd reason, they're in trouble because they lost Inferno. If it's the 1st reason and they've been pracking it really hard, they still
maybe they have a chance then, but
playing it they haven't been playing it in officials may have been playing it in low tier officials, but they haven't been playing it in the big games that we actually see. So I'm concerned on all 3 levels.
I agree. I'm thinking this is a little bit precarious for MVP, especially after the performance there on Inferno, where no one really seemed to get it going. If you're going to win a map that you're not so comfortable on, it needs to be off the back of someone stepping up and having a star power performance, and we just did not see that from MVP at all. But we've seen it time and time again what a difference a new map can make. And for MVP, this most certainly is a new map. But they're starting on the CT side. Let's find out how they are going to play it out. Ehome on the T side would love to get a 2-0 today over MVP. Put them down into the lower bracket. That's Tyloo and MVP out of contention, at least for the upper bracket, and really leaves the door wide open for a lot of those other teams. But Solo has heard quite a bit of commotion. Might find himself a free kill here, or 2.
Boy. Solo gets traded after 2, but that's a lot of info gathered. It's a good setup from MVP. 3 players towards A, 2 over towards B, with a lot of info in mid care of that lower push, but
Zion's on the rotate.
Now all the pressure is on Glow. That's true. Zion's on a big old flank. I like this setup from MVP. Very, very confident out of the gate. putting a lot of pressure on individual players, but still able to make the space, and Glow's going to hit the shot he needs to. Now he can just buy time here. His teammates are coming to help him. There's the flank coming in from Zine. Still, this round surely will be slipping away from Ehome here.
Yeah, I was going to say important kill there from Glow, as it does allow that rotation to come across for Shits with the USP. Does not manage to get the better of Zeph there and will drop. Good pistol round out for MVP PK. And really important that Glow wins that aim battle on B. If he drops there, it's 3v3, bomb site's open, and Ehome can run in there and get the bomb down. But not the case, nothing to get worried about just yet for MVP. Pistols out for Ehome, armor as well. Deagle armor always can do some damage here on Dust2.
It's actually a bit of an unusual setup for them as well, with no mid-pressure apart from a player pushed through lower B, one on B side itself, and then two players holding long, one ready to fall back towards short. So if Ehome had gone for a straight-up B rush, or even just a hard mid-play, they would have done much better there, but they play straight into the clutches of MVP, and the smoke will end up distracting Insane for long enough. He actually found a kill there, which I almost didn't see. It was so quick, but he gets traded. 1-for-1 is okay for MVP, but Solo goes for a bit of an adventure in mid. And I get it, you've got SMGs, you've got to play close, but these Deagles, 1v1 is where they're going to thrive. If you can get them in a 2v1 situation where the SMGs have the advantage in terms of numbers, they're not going to do much. If you give a Deagle a 1v1 and a confident player, you're going to be in trouble. So MVP now, 3 versus 4.
Yeah, look at how open the B side is right now as well for Ehome. They don't know it, but they could literally just walk in there and put the bomb down. MVP have forced a full rotation over to A, and it might be their saving grace here, especially if Marek loses this aim battle, which he will. Zeta there, and no trade available for Ehome in that situation, so he does back off. Oh, if only Ehome knew Zeta does a substantial amount of damage. However, with that UMP, utility is out here, and we need to see another pretty amazing shot really out from any of these Deagle players. Slowly will get one. Zeta is quite low, but nothing done there from either Slowly or for Shits. Funny that for Shits not able to get that kill actually on Solo, as he was just sort of running around. I meant on the mini setup, but regardless.
Look, it's fine. Best case scenario for Shits is to get the plant, and he's not going to be able to. There's already a player close.
Oh,
actually
get it.
Might if they don't commit far. And nope,
not quite.
Lucky.
So close it so far for Ehome.
Big save there from Minizetta.
I really wish Ehome would have had a look into the B site there. Because they would have spotted absolutely nothing.
Especially when they found that player aggressive short. That could well have been the catalyst that says to them, like, when you see a player aggressive short in that sort of situation, you say, he's there aggressively because they're stacking A and he wants early warning, or he's there because he's the only one on A and therefore he's aggressive. So, like, it makes sense to push for that, but I also wish that that could have been the catalyst for them to go, all right, there's one aggressive short, there's definitely one long, let's just try flood B.
Nonetheless, quite a bit of damage done by Ehome, so keeping MVP honest, and they'll try and do that once again in this round. Solo on his own, overwhelmed Ehome. They do seem to be figuring out what MVP is doing a little bit on this CT side, as they're catching some of those CTs off guard.
It's been a pretty similar setup since the pistol, really. 3A.
Hole in the smoke.
2B, and that's a Glock getting a free kill there on Minizetta, who had, I mean, just a UMP, but still, Zine will grab one at least, but Marek with a instant trade. Bomb still in their control.
Look at this.
4v2, MVP, what are we doing here? One
3 weapons.
Bomb side.
The saving grace, at least for MVP here, is that there's no armor for Ehome, so the aim battles should definitely be going the way of MVP, if they actually get aim battles, but they haven't really had aim battles. They've just been getting caught off guard by Ehome players. Insane will find the info that Zeph is on long. Someone needs to help Marek out on that cross, and Shits is going to be the one to do it. Eventually, he actually does get Zeph. That's going to allow the bomb to go down here. Glow might be able to take him down if he just takes the jump, but in the end, he decides not to. Bomb planted for short. Destroyer is on short, and for Shits will spot out Glow. So, 1v1. Even if this round still goes the way of MVP,
got the kit.
Ehome are definitely doing damage to that CT economy at the moment. That time is ticking away pretty quickly. Like you said, he has got a kit. Destroyer's going to take the peak. Timing almost good enough there for him, but with only a UMP, it is going to still go the way of MVP. Very expensive couple of rounds, though, for the CT side. It's going to, I mean, a full reinvestment here. And if Ehome manages to win this first gun round, it's going to be a full reset for MVP.
And that eco, or that, not eco, that force could well have gone the way of Ehome there. I mean, actually, it almost was an eco, wasn't it? It was just Glocks P250s. In that 1v1, considering the Glow had to run the way all the way down to long, like he got on site, got that first kill, and then immediately had to bail, go grab that kit to take on the rest of the round. If the player on short had peeked out there and actually tried to hold that long cross angle, then could have stopped him even getting back to site, and then fall back for info, but that smoke.
That's a chance gone begging.
Just about gonna save. Yeah, Zeph will stay alive from that and be able to grab a frag here, and almost the second. Can't quite finish it, but Sign's there for the help, and that utility somehow saves MVP in what was a situation where they should have lost at least one, if not two players.
You really got to be kicking yourself there as Ehome, because that is another chance gone begging. So many times, Ehome, already in this map, have had possibilities of a round win, but they just haven't been able to grasp them. And that's kind of I think that's actually a bad sign. Like, it can be a good or a bad sign. It means they're getting close to these rounds, and it's just going to take them maybe a little bit of luck or something going their way to close the round out. But a lot of the time, if it doesn't eventuate, if you don't get that opportunity, you allow the CT economy to build up, or you allow MVP to get a bit more confidence eventually, and then things start to fall by the wayside, and MVP might run away with this map. But Ehome, they're still in this. But if they keep letting these chances go by without getting anything, it's not going to be a great scenario.
That said, though, we are only in the 4th round here, and if MVP win this round cleanly, then they'll be able to get their money going a bit, right? Normally in the 4th round, if you win the first gun round, your money's great. MVP, they've lost so many players in every round so far, to essentially nothing in terms of investment from Ehome. But they will only just be able to get their money going. This round's looking pretty good for them. They should be able to win it. Destroyer does take one, but 2 versus 4, 20 seconds remaining. Ehome going to go save. But still MVP, their money, while it's going to be okay, it's not going to be great. They're certainly not sitting on the bank that you'd expect them to be sitting on after 4 rounds.
No, but that's a better round than we've seen previously. If Zeph goes down here, though, that's a little bit troublesome. Looks like MVP kind of want to hunt, and Zeph will drop as well.
You don't have the money to be hunting.
Yeah. Well, they've recognized that now.
Yeah, like, they can get some drops out, barely. Like, Solo can drop 1, maybe 2 if he goes for SMGs instead of rifles. Looks like, okay, he's just going to drop 1 and then buy himself an M4, but that money is still so tentative. I mean, they've got a little bit in the reserve now, a couple players with over $1,000 left, but that's still not much. That's enough that if Ehome can grab a win here, it's going to put MVP on the ropes almost immediately. And they're going for a mid take. Once again, MVP 3A, 1 mid, 1 B. If Ehome can recognize this and just go for a quick B take, which is what they look like they want to be doing here, splitting out through mid, going B, then this could overwhelm MVP.
Potentially damage done onto Solo there, but he will actually get the better of her shits. 1-4-0. Good start for MVP. Wasted Incendiary, however. Now these Ehome members start to creep their way toward the B bomb site. Solo with the good timing. Zeph will be able to get 1 and Glow another. Slowly does get dropped by Zeph as well, and it's all onto Destroyer. Ehome, I think, just a little bit too slow there. Gets stabbed in the back. And what can Destroyer do? 1 versus 3. He's going to give this one a go. He knows the rest of his team cannot buy this next round anyway. He's found the opening, but Zeta hitting the shot. MVP looking much better here on Inferno. Not on Inferno. Absolutely not. On Dust2, they're looking better. Didn't look great on Inferno by any means.
Now, the question for me is, well, it's 2 parts. 1, how long is MVP going to keep their setup the same? And 2, how long will it take Ehome to realize it? Because the setup for MVP every single round has been 2 players take long control. Ooh. And with 3 on A, 1 player either pushes short or just goes back to hold it. Then they have 1 player either mid or B doors, and another one anchoring B. And they're going to be doing it again. So if Ehome can figure this out, which looks like they are doing, if they go for a fast B play here, there's 1 player on the side, 1 out in mid they can lock out. Like Solo, if they smoke off doors and window or molly it, he's useless. They can get onto B for free.
Pop flash
so they do, yeah, pop flash in mid. They do want to go B here. They've actually figured this out pretty early on. There's 1 player down. That's a short kill as well. That's going to ask the question. Glow goes for the spot though.
Yeah. Info, I guess, at least for MVP, which is important, but Solo can't win the aim battle now. Heading into the bomb site, Glow just wrapping around the doors.
Done that.
Well, it's actually Solo last round, but you're right. That's the second time it's happened, and the second time it's bitten Ehome in the butt. They'll be able to get the bomb down. This position right now is so good. Zion is going to drop. 4 versus 2, and surely MVP can't manage to get this retake to work. Absolutely cannot, and because of the damage that Ehome have been able to do, they're going to be able to more or less reset MVP. Zion and Mini Zeta here have a bit of cash, but not enough to force a buy through for MVP, I don't think. So first round on the board for Ehome. Comes a little bit later than I might have liked. I think they have had opportunities. They are actually going to force behind this one, MVP.
That said, yeah, like they've had opportunities, but they've found the hole in MVP setup now. Like MVP would have run that setup all day, but now they can't. They're just going for multiple scopes into mid to try and do some damage. It's going to boost over their own smoke. I like this.
Oh, close for Mini Zeta, but...
But that's the thing, like the fact that they do win that round, one, they did so much damage early that MVP's money is limited, and the fact that Ehome found that round doing that will cause MVP to change their setup. This round's more of a force, so they're happy to stack A, but next gun round, they should be changing something up. Like they've either got to have more pressure B or more assistance mid, or else Ehome will be able to do the exact same thing I just did and win the round the exact same way.
I wonder if Ehome didn't expect the rifles in this round for MVP, because that was a very aggressive play from Destroyer. He didn't really have much backup out there on long either. Solo's pushed up through bedroom, does have a fair bit of information, and this boost from Zeph is going to put a bit of a spanner in the works for Ehome if they do not check it, but it's a fairly common position. Yeah, it's a pretty common position these days, so you must expect it. And Glow with a scout. How much is he going to be able to do here as the 8 players enter the B-bomb side? I'm not so sure. Zion now, though, does jump up late. And if Glow gets a headshot here onto any of those players coming in through, or even if he gets a tag onto Fashits, it's going to be dangerous. There's at least a tag onto Insane, and his position is now locking down the B side. Ehome have not made this one work. They've fallen to bits. They were aware enough, but just kind of allowed MVP the opportunity to have a second crack at it. And straight away, Ehome is going to be reset again, kind of. They could force through here, and they will.
It's actually a pretty big round for MVP to win in terms of the economy, because it's going to stabilize them. They're going to be able to get another buy-in. Again, they're investing everything, but it's a good buy now. Finally, got everything that they need. And with that scout there on the B-bomb side, there actually only needed to be one shot, that tag. I can't remember who the scout was, but there was one player tagged and 2 players 100 HP. If he just tags one other player down to 30 HP in a 4v3, he gets traded, makes it a 3v3, but with 2 players low, he's done enough. And that is exactly the way it played out. Now Ehome changing up their goals this time, shifting the focus, multiple players waiting in mid doors, 2 players up through short. Once again, MVP have gone back to the same setup, but with one slight difference in that Zion is all the way through long, not holding it with 2 players. That's the change up that they've made. They've still got 3A, 2B, but given that they have one player all the way aggressive up long, means they can have more emphasis out mid to do this. Solo takes down Destroyer, who goes through a smoke by himself. No possibility of a trade. And Glow, while he's alone, is ready to lock down B as Ehome get ready to push.
I'll flash out. It's not going to affect Glow at all. Bomb is now spotted. A good trade from Insane, at least. I'm not sure it's enough. MVP have got numbers, and Zeph straight onto the side. Are they going to expect him here? Most certainly they are not. Zeph will get 2 before being taken down by Slowly, but he's done his job. Would have been a free kill for Slowly, a kill that he really needed, but he won't get it. Another one for MVP. This time, Ehome will have to save.
Now, the strategy or the holds of these 2 teams are going to fall back in the favor of MVP, because previously MVP, 3 players holding A, 1 holding mid, 1 holding B, leaves B weak. Ehome realized this and put a lot of pressure on B every round. But because they're doing that, they're not taking anywhere else on the map. Like, they got a few players up aggressive short, but they don't touch long, which allows Zion to get all the way up through long, hold it solo, and allow a couple players to go back into mid. Zion's doing the same thing here. Like, he has now, right now, complete long control. It's a pistol round for Ehome, sure, but Zion being here with this much pressure, they're going to put 2 players there, but just for now, that's completely, like, nullified long entirely for Ehome here. They can't take that at all. And the fact that long control is completely there and that no one from Ehome is pressuring it means that if they want to, MVP can rotate players back into mid, which is what won them the last round. They can do whatever they like. So until Ehome start playing more of a default and actually putting pressure on multiple areas of the map and not just the ones directly in the way of where they're going, then MVP are going to have an easy time. Of course, it's just pistols, but next gun round we'll have to see.
It could be too little too late here, though, for Ehome. They've already given MVP such an advantage in the first half. I mean, it's not over just yet, but Ehome are going to have difficulty making this one particularly competitive unless they win basically the next round and then onwards. You always look at Dust2 as a map that is pretty even. 8-7, 9-6 is kind of worst case scenario. And Ehome, yeah, well, at least they keep the money honest and they get the bomb down for themselves. So they've achieved something in that round.
Oh,
but
MVP have lost so many players.
Yeah, this next one for Ehome, it's got to be a win. It's got to be a win, otherwise MVP are just going to run away with this map, I'm sure.
Well, that's the thing, like, MVP are actually pretty lucky to be up this many rounds. And I say lucky, not because they've been playing badly necessarily, they don't deserve to be winning rounds, but because in the rounds that they're winning, they've just been losing so many players so regularly. Like, the first 3 rounds, the pistol and then the 2 force buys or the anti-eco rounds, they still lost like 3 or 4 players pretty much every single time. So it's been an expensive half for them, as you can see by the fact that their money is still pretty garbage. They've got Solo and Zyme with some good cash now, but Zeph and Glow below $1,000. Mini Zeta relatively low as well. Their money is nowhere near where it should be, given that they're up 8-1, but they're still up 8-1. They're doing well, so credit where it's due.
Yeah, exactly.
Getting the job done.
Doesn't matter how you win the rounds, as long as you do win the rounds in the end. And if you keep winning them, who cares what your economy is like? But Ehome with a slow progression onto B. Looks like a pop flash through this smoke for them. Maybe not even that. Glow sprays down 2, and Marek gets slowly. It is just not going well at all for Ehome here, is it? They cannot seem to get anything done.
They run a player out before the flash pops, and then the next 2 players get flashed by said pop flash. Like, the thing that falls apart from there is that the flash was late. It didn't make any space for the first player, and then it blinded the next 2. That's not the way to do a push through a smoke, unfortunately.
Guess there's a reason that Ehome don't win very many matches on Dust2. Well, pistols, armor for Ehome again. We've seen them do damage with it, but not enough to get around. And like I said, like early in this map, Ehome was so close to getting a lot of rounds, but they weren't able to actually finish one off. And now we're starting to see MVP take control of this map a little bit more. They're up 9-1, potentially going to be up 10-1 here. Very likely even to be up 10-1.
Yeah, this round's pretty much done. Ehome just hoping to grab themselves a lucky kill or 2. Try and take some guns away from MVP. The ideal scenario here is for one of these players to grab a kill with the Deagle, be able to pick up that gun and get another few kills with it. Like, that's really the only play they can make. Bombs down on short. Glow's going to run straight in and check it. That's an easy gunfight for him to win eventually. Does actually allow Marek past, but Zyme's here on the flank, and they know exactly where he is. It's actually going to go back and hit that shot. That's a pretty surprising one, but it means that is holding the angle. 3 kills for him on that AWP. 10 rounds on the board. MVP looking much better. I'm not going to say solid because the rounds have been shaky, but they've been winning them.
They have. Now, best case scenario for Ehome is 5 on the T side, and that is not enough. Not on Dust2. Unless they have some sort of magical CT side, it looks like we are very likely headed onto a 3rd map here. We haven't even seen the end of the first half. MVP can maybe even turn this one into something greater.
They're back to their original setup. Now they've changed things up enough that they figure Ehome won't be trying anything fast in the gun round. Figure they won't be exploited the same way as before. So they're back to doing what they were doing in the first couple rounds of the half. 1 mid, 1 B. Couple on A. They've rotated one of the A players over, and again, that's because of the pressure of Zyme. Being out through long by himself means he can stay there by himself, leave 1 player on A and put a 2nd on mid. It's again just because Ehome aren't taking any map presence at all. Like, they're holding for the long push, but they're not taking long presence, which just means that MVP have so much freedom to do whatever they want, wherever they want.
But MVP with only the 1 player on the B side at the moment. That's where Ehome are. Have already seen Glow holding up there before. Insane will not check it, but surely the 2nd player will. In the end, Glow can't even get a single one, and that's sometimes the trouble with a solo hold on B. You pretty much just give it up as soon as that player dies. MVP, though, they can go for the retake here, but solo is going to drop, so it's going to just be the 1-pronged attack. Not really a pincer strike here for MVP, if they do end up deciding to go for it. Not much utility, but a couple of smokes, and the flashbangs don't really do a whole lot. This is not going to work for MVP.
Certainly isn't. Whoa, that was sharp.
Whereas with that before.
Yeah, that's the problem with that setup for MVP. Like I said during that round, they have more freedom with Zyme out long that allows them to rotate over to mid, but they still didn't put any more players on B. They didn't have any support on B. They were hoping that Ehome were going to go the split mid to B. That's what they were waiting for with those 2 players mid, 1 player on B. They wanted it to be a split from Ehome, which is what they've done previously in their earlier gun rounds. That's what they were gambling on, but Ehome just go for a straight up B rush. Not even any utility. They go out dry. That sort of push would be absolutely slaughtered with 2 players on B. With no smoke, no flashbang, you run out dry, you're going to die if you try and do that. But the fact that they just walk out, there's only 1 player on the bomb site, gets overwhelmed, works perfectly, and now they've already found the first kill. Mini Zeta under tons of pressure, finds 2, 3, close range with the AWP. Shouldn't have got away with that many, but he does. And he keeps it competitive for his team, keeps them in things. Zyme going to equalize it as well. That's bombed down. And
Ehome just can't do anything right. They cannot do anything right at the moment, can they? Everything they seem to try and do just gets absolutely slaughtered. MVP with another round, and well, money's okay for Ehome. At least they can buy through here, but best case scenario is 4 rounds on the T half. Like, it's just not good enough.
Like, someone's got to trade this.
2 no-scopes for Minizetta there as well.
I think they might, looking at the timing, I think they might just have been like the quickest of quick scopes.
Quick scopes?
Just,
maybe.
Just besting off the time between shots, because that's just long enough for you to get the scope out. But either way, you got to trade that.
Yeah, for
Someone's got to hit that shot. The spacing between players was just a little bit too wide. That gives the AWP enough time to reload. Like, that's the problem. Like, with spacing on the T side, you don't want to be too far apart because that happens. But you don't want to be too close together because then you get collided by the first AWP shot. So it's a tricky thing, and for Ehome, the balance wasn't quite there. Minizetta, of course, he's given the opportunity to get away with 3, but still excellent work from him to be able to capitalize on that. Now Ehome looking for this play up through short. Again, only 1 player directly watching it, despite the fact that there's 2 players, 3 players really on A with the rotation over from mid and from long. But Zeph's going to catch out slowly. Once again, no trade possible. All of Ehome split up all over the map with no control of anywhere. This is going to be a rough round for them.
Not a whole lot of movement from Ehome. They've just set themselves up, and they're waiting the round out, which is maybe not the best of ideas because MVP have the player advantage and a lot of utility still late in this round, so seems unlikely to me that Ehome are going to be able to group up within 36 seconds and get a whole lot done. Over on B, Solo has still got an incendiary and a flashbang here. Oh, look at this. Too easy.
Actually unreal timing.
Good stuff from Solo. That's the round over. Ehome's not going to be able to do anything now. Solo with 3, the double AWP working perfectly for MVP.
Actually can't believe that. He crouches while they're still there, while they're around the corner.
Yeah.
Uncrouches, and then the moment he goes back down, they peek. But still, excellent work from him. Like, yeah, that crouch there allowed them out. But still, nice quick shots. Mops them up. Nothing they could really do there. Once again, Ehome, limited utility usage there from them. That contact play B is only going to work the once. And it has only worked once for them. Now they're looking at 3 rounds at best on their T side, which is not enough. I think it's fair to say. Not enough at all. Going for a quick play towards B, but already reconsidering moving into lowers. They've got players all over the map and no presence anywhere just yet. They're trying to get out mid, but there's 3 players from MVP potentially who can watch that. That smoke's going to go down, but still allows Solo room to maneuver.
Zion's dropped early though. Zeph through the smoke is going to run straight into Marek, and now it's really on to Solo, isn't it? With that AWP, he had a couple of nice shots in the last round, but he has to fall back. Now at least Glow has cleared out upper dark. That means they can both turn their attention in towards middle. And Zeta, with the USP, gets the better of for shits. So it is 3v2.
Did he just push long with a USP instead of his AWP?
Yep.
I love it.
Round still goes the way of MVP though. Well, that's I guess that's a good response for Inferno, isn't it? But you really just like, where was MVP on Inferno? Really?
Where was this MVP?
That's what I'm saying.
I mean, not even in terms of their tactics, because obviously the maps are quite different. Just, where was the aim? They're hitting everything now. And they just weren't hitting anything on Inferno. They just missed all sorts. But, all right, let's see some statistics, shall we? Beautiful. 100 ADR for 3 players. That's pretty monstrous. Lots of headshot percentage, love it. MC's busy pointing out that Fashits has flashed 11 players and has 90 utility damage. The remainder of his team have 0 utility damage and about 3 enemies flashed. There wasn't a lot of utility really used on that CT side, but look, Ehome now on the on their T side even, but Ehome now on the CT side. We'll see what they've got. Minizetta though has been given the raid boss setup. This used to be Tech 9, now it's P250. So far, it's not needed as Zine goes busting up through Cat. Insane wants to get the trades, and he will find 2. That brings it back into a 3 versus 3. That's a great shot from Destroyer. Wow, knocking him down. Now it's all on Minizetta with this P250. Does have the range advantage over the USP, actually, but not quite the same accuracy. He's able to get the bomb and get out, though. So now, with a minute 20 to play with, you can try and make something of this 1v2.
Would be pretty heartbreaking for Ehome if they lost this one. In the 2v1, both players full HP, but really all it's going to take is a couple of headshots from Minizetta and chance here to win that aim battle, but cannot land the shots and puts him down to a 1-shot now. So the chances of this going the way of MVP do fall a little bit lower.
8 HP.
if he can get the bomb down, play a close angle, you know, maybe just tap 2 players as they walk around the corner. If he, you know, kind of catches them off guard or something, it's doable. But Slowly is so close to this B site that even to get the bomb down is going to be maybe a bit of an effort. He's made noise, but Slowly's just floated a little bit too far away. See if he gets the 1v1 here, though.
It's actually doable now for Minizetta. If he can find this first frag, it's just going to take the 1 headshot from that P250. It's a 1-shot headshot to no armor or no helmet at any range, but he needs to be able to hit that shot first and still can't find it.
Oh, no.
No HP. They're just going to jump in limit at this point.
Yeah. He was stuck out in the open, had to keep tapping away, and that wasted some precious, precious ammo. So Pistol will go the way of Ehome.
And it comes on the back from some massive performances from both Insane and Destroyer, getting 2 kills at short and long, respectively. Great work from them. And now MVP seem to, well, gonna have to chill. They did get the bomb down there. That's actually a win for them in that 1v2 with 8 HP. Getting the bomb down is pretty much the best they could hope for. So at this point, I think it's just gonna have to be the save for them. Given that they got the bomb down in the first round, they'll be able to get AKs in third. If they can plant the bomb again here somehow, they'll be able to get AKs in utility in third, which would be a great thing for them to have coming into it, but we'll see what they're able to get done here. As first pressure does go into long, the nade answers back, good damage done. And with just, well, mostly Glocks, 2 Deagles and a P250, but just pistols, no armor, no util. A bomb plant is best case scenario here for MVP PK as they move towards A short with 3 players weigh and wait from Ehome.
I mean, really, all they have to do is get rid of Destroyer here, and then they can plant the bomb on A. Not going to be too much done from Insane or Marek if they get onto the site proper, but in the end, actually, it was for shits that was sitting in Goose.
Oh, all right, Minizetta. 2 quick 1Ds to open it up.
Bomb's not in a great spot here for MVP, though.
Oh,
Solo. It's got to hurt, right? It's got to hurt.
Also feels bad. That's so unfortunate.
Just jumping the gun a little bit there.
Yeah.
Both Minizetta and Solo. Oh well, 13-4. MVP. I have enough money to buy here, but I haven't bought yet.
Surely they're not going to... No. Okay, they're just buying super late. I was like, I mean, they do have the rounds to play with if they wanted to go for a 4th round fully bought up gun round. But
it would have been a discussion
the reason
over...
you save second is like to go for buy third when you're playing a pistol. So
it would have been a discussion over whether the AWP was going to come out or not. Solo with a pop flash through. Same situation that we saw for Ehome. Same result. MVP, they get the opening, but they can't get the punish. The damage is done. Marek and Insane down low, low, low. But MVP lose 2 players.
Do indeed. And this is actually almost to the player the same setup that MVP were running. Almost identical, which will leave the exact same weakness. Mid to B and straight up B hits are going to be weak. So finds that first one. That said, though, given that Ehome do have that player advantage, that's just going to make Marek drift down towards mid. Still 2 players very, very low, so this is doable for MVP if they can find these engagements. And for now, they are slowing down. Looks like they want to split onto the A-bomb side here, but that's where 3 players are waiting, so exactly the same as last half. We'll see how long it takes the T side to figure out the setup and how to counter it. Ehome didn't figure that out. They did find the setup, but couldn't figure out how to work around it. We'll see if MVP are able to do any better here, as this round, I think, is going to be quite tough. 2 versus 3 on this bomb site directly. To smoke out mid to B, though, that's actually great. That's going to draw Marek into CT, but unfortunately they move a little bit too soon. He comes back up the ramp and will not be able to find that first kill. Now for shits, big job to do.
Yeah, 1v3. Insane around the back, though. He's going to come up big for shits, even bigger. And 13-5. Ehome do manage to grab the round. MVP had such a great chance there, but it's gone begging again. I don't know, man. Like, is this doable for Ehome now? Like, MVP's been reset. Ehome start to build the money up.
How dare you even suggest that? You know you'll curse it. We'll see. I mean, this round is pistols and nothing else for MVP, so 13-6 is a possibility. Then
I said 2-0 for MVP. So
I mean, so did I.
Nothing would be more cursed than if Ehome were to get the 2-0.
Especially coming down from 2-13.
Yeah.
Coming back from 2-13.
Yeah, that's what an obscene world we would live in.
That would be, ouch. That would be unfortunate, but
Still not
this
really
round,
there yet.
Yeah, like MVP aren't getting anything done here. Bomb plant, best case scenario, and Marek has enough utility to stop it. He's actually used the Molotov on short, but still can just hit here for shits getting involved as well. This should be an easy mop-up, easy eco frags, all headshots, good composure. Nothing at all the Minizeta can do with a Glock in hand. But even moving into this next round, because this one is a non-event. There it is. Moving into the next round, MVP, they've got enough money to buy and get utility. But if they lose this round, I mean, they're going to get a decent amount of money in coming from the loss bonus. They'll be on 5th round loss bonus then, so that's 3,200 coming in. So they'll get a decent amount of money. But Ehome are also getting their economy established now. They've got a few players with a decent amount of cash, a couple more low, but they're also fully bought. There's actually, economically, they've got a really good spot to come back in, or they're in a really good spot to make this comeback run.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I start to get a little worried here for MVP, even despite the fact they're up 13-6. Insane. With a bit of lag there by the looks of things. Maybe just the GoTV, hopefully. Yeah, was able to get the 1-for-1. It gives log control over to MVP. A lot of brawling around long, around bedroom so far in both halves of this map. So both teams looking to keep control of long.
Question for me is whether MVP will expect 2 players here. Because right now, ooh, no, they're actually pushing. I was going to say the setup is that for shits is just baiting for Marek at car, but instead they're both going to push out. Minizeta should. No, can't quite get 2.
Oh.
And what? What? Where was Zine? I didn't even see him, but
He
somehow...
must have been lined up behind him.
Obviously, if shits is able to get away with 2 frags there, and that brings it back into a 2v3.
There you go, and he's going to try and creep on forward. I wonder if Solo expects him on this little angle now. It certainly does not. Nice double tap from Fashits, and he will get 3 for the round.
I think it might have been a spray. There was a little bit of lag.
Yeah.
He moved his crosshair down like he was spraying. But hey,
well, whatever.
Doesn't matter. Chloe's got a real tough time getting the bomb because Fashits is here with an AWP. Easy frag, easy win.
What a great round.
Yeah, 4 for him.
Fashits all over them.
True. He does.
13-7 though. And Ehome once again are going to put themselves in a very, very good economic position. MVP quite the opposite at the moment.
And see, last round when I was trying to figure out how much money they had, I said if they lose this one, they get enough to buy. That's not quite the case because they got no frags and they didn't plant the bomb. They got what? 2 kills that round? Not enough to be able to sustain a buy here. So they're going to have to go for the CZs and armor, a little bit of utility here. That's 13-8, assuming that Ehome stop this B rush, which looking at the utility damage, surely they will. Here comes the Mo down. Slowly gets 3 somehow. I don't think he was expecting that kill onto Zeph, but he got it. Bomb down.
He was just like swinging his mouse around, spraying,
please,
hoping for the best. And it worked out pretty well. 3 kills, 8's up. Ehome now 5 for the deficit. 1, 2. I don't even know where that third one came from.
So the third one was actually coming out through tons and he hit him through the corner of the box.
Yeah.
Because he had no head armor, I think. He didn't see him, he didn't know.
He didn't know. Lucky. Anyway, let's see what Ehome can do here against another gun round of MVP. Really, it just... I almost feel like it's going to take just 1 for MVP, but then again, they actually do still need to break that CT economy before they're going to have an easy time, and slowly avoiding all the flashbangs really well. Eventually does get blinded by 1, but spraying away, does eventually go down, and Fashits will drop as well on B. Goodness me, that was so close to being fantastic from Slowly, but just that one last flashbang catches him, and that is his undoing. Yeah, and also Ehome's undoing.
4 flashes, something there.
Yeah. That's unlucky for Ehome.
It is indeed, and that's the one that MVP needed to break the momentum now. It was 6 rounds in a row for Ehome. They were making this comeback happen, but with that one turning the tide, MVP will hit 14. That's the thing. No matter how big of a comeback Ehome want to go on, MVP still got 13 rounds in the first half. So it takes almost nothing for them to win this map. It's 1 round could well turn the tide. So we'll see what Ehome are able to do after this. They have been having... The rounds they've been winning have been pretty clean. So you can see there for shits while he's dead, he has $8,000 just about. Marek on 4,700. The players who are alive also very rich. Destroyer, especially if your AWP is that rich, you're having a good time. So the money will not be an issue here for Ehome. What is an issue, though, is an MVP are on 14. 2 more and they've got the win. So for Ehome, while they do have the economy to immediately get back into things, it's got to be straight back on the horse. Don't give MVP any more chances. And actually, if they can do this, if they can come back into this now, MVP's loss round or round loss bonus is reset. They'll go from getting like $3,000 or a bit over in their account every single round to almost nothing. So if Ehome can win this, then they've actually almost reset like that advantage for MVP. They've reset that comeback kind of. But first they've got to win this round. And it is a full gun.
Oh, look at this. Very quick up short and into the A-bomb site.
In front of the molly.
MVP. A bit of damage done though onto Zion, and Marek does manage to connect the second shot here. Shits does give him a bit of backup, but right now it's all on Marek, and on long, Insane is under pressure, so there needs to be some backup there as well. Grenade through. Don't allow the bomb to go down on A. Slowly, we'll get an important aim battle onto Zeph though, and that opens up short. Glow's coming around the back, but he is spotted from mid. Based on this now, Ehome surely must be winning this round.
That was disgusting. Flashover will not blind Minizetta somehow. He's able to get that frag, but now it's all left up to him. And Destroyer on the peak will do it. Double AWP save through. And that's money. Not great for MVP. With this bomb plant, they'll get enough that they'll be able to buy into this next round, but lose that one. And they will have to eco. They won't be able to just roll on purchases because of the round loss bonus, because, like I said earlier, they just lost that. So one more round, MVP probably going to have to eco.
Can Ehome get that one round though? I mean, it's just, I don't know. I can't really. I have no confidence in either of these two teams to actually close this map out at the moment. Like MVP have been so shaky in this second half, but really all it's going to take is 1 or 2 rounds for MVP, and then Ehome is done. It's really hanging in the balance right now. If Ehome get back to, I don't know, if they get to like 12, 14 or something, then I think I'm going to start to believe in them. We're just still not quite there yet. Imagine if Ehome even still got like 11-4 or something in that first half. How much better that would look. 1 for 1 in mid. Not great for Ehome, but Destroyer is there to trade out with the AWP.
So we're into a 3 versus 4. VP giving up their attempt on B, going to go over towards A instead. 2 players, including the bomb, heading up short here, and Minizetta will eventually make his way long, but Insane won't actually stick to it. Thought he was going to stay in that cutout there. That could have been a nice little spot for him, but wary of that smoke fading. He will be falling back onto the site. Still, though, should be a position they can win. Oh, looks away at the wrong moment, but still, actually, no, not in a great spot here, given that there's lots of Molotovs to force him off that bomb site. They've got to start hitting these shots here before that flank comes in long. Minizetta's on his way.
Yeah, they just need to wait for Minizetta to make something happen here, but they don't. Insane gets the turn, and now he can still lock down this bomb site, buy the time for his rotations, or just close the round out himself. That works for Ehome. 10 is up. And reset City now for MVP. Like you said, money's not good enough for a full buy. Pistol Armor might be the go. They have a bit of a bankroll to play with, but oh wow, now we're starting to get into precarious times for both teams.
I'd love to know where that shot went for Minizetta. It's so unfortunate. He had a bit of opportunity to get a sitter off there and couldn't quite convert it, but hey. Well, I mean, I hope they use that MC. I really do hope they go back and pick that up and go stop a B rush with it, but I think it might just be an accidental purchase, which, I mean, that could actually affect them. We'll keep an eye on that. They just bought an M249. I'm not sure if you saw it, but there's an M249 sitting on the ground spawn, so we'll actually have to keep an eye on that and see if that affects their money going forward, because 3 players now are below $3,000. I'm not sure who bought it, but that's risky. That said, though, this round, pistols for MVP, they should be losing it. We're looking at 14-11. But yeah, even if Ehome keep winning rounds that they lose a lot of players in, then maybe that M249 comes back to bite them.
Maybe. Maybe. And maybe this is MVP's poor run on Dust2 really starting to rear its ugly head. Like CT side, they played out well, but T side, it just seems like things are getting a little bit lost now for MVP. All the options are being expended. I just keep going back to that thought of both MVP, PK, and Tyloo into the lower bracket from the 2 open qualifier teams. Oh, I actually, you know what? I kind of want to see that.
I mean, I love it for the open qualifier teams. It's fabulous.
Something
I just feel
different.
bad for anyone who goes into the lower bracket.
Yeah,
it's
the absolute.
You go to walk into a kiddie pool and it's filled with, like, tiger sharks.
Yeah, exactly. This round is not going to be too exciting for MVP.
I mean, Minizetta's managed 1. The money is still there, though. Insane's got $14,000, so as long as they don't drop a bunch of money in these rounds, then...
Hopefully Insane drops for slowly here.
No, he should. As long as they don't drop a bunch of money in these rounds, then that's where, you know, that massive purchase of the M249 won't be an issue. What do we got in terms of statistics here? For shits with 22 players flashed. 123 utility damage, 200 for slowly.
Yeah, pretty good.
Doing well with the old util. 3 rounds now needed to tie the score. MVP looking at a 1 and 9 half so far. Ooh, for shits, that Molotov has missed badly, but He's actually made his way into pit, and they haven't checked. He's going to have players dropping on him, though. Will be able to find the first frag. Spins around everywhere, doesn't know where to look, but somehow Glow and Zephyr made it work.
How? How does that happen? I mean, jeez, Maniz. It is just crazy over on long at the moment, isn't it? Slowly.
Does not compute.
Trying to do something here through the smoke, perhaps, but this round looks like it might just disappear for Ehome. Unless he, I don't know, jumps up, denies the bomb plan, even then. It just seems like when MVP play quickly, they catch Ehome off guard.
I mean, Ehome had the setup for that as well. Like, they had 2 players at long ready to go, but they got bamboozled amidst the smokes, amidst the flashes. We could see there from the player in pit just flicking his mouse all over the place. And he was a little bit...
He had no idea.
A little bit harried, shall we say. A little bit concerned about what was going on, so...
It was not calm by any means.
No, certainly not. Certainly not. So finally, MVP have hit 15.
Ehome with the bye. Good tag onto Destroyer. Smoke was a bit late from Ehome.
It's a shot through the wall, not a leg as well. And it did 70 damage and not 85. I mean, it could have been a leg through the wall, but hey, let's not argue semantics. See what MVP have got for us here and what could be the final round of Dust2. It's taken quite some time. They're up 13-2, now it's 15-11, but Ehome, despite a spirited comeback, I think might just fall a little bit short here.
Yeah, it's a good Molotov as well. Going to push the shits out of his position. Marek with the orb now. Well, let's see what he can offer. Good shot onto Zeph. Decent start to the round for Ehome.
3 players here on this A-bomb site. Waiting for this push to come in. Again, there's only 1 directly challenging. Shit sitting down in CT can kind of help fight short, but Insane will have to come all the way up from long, so a lot of work to be done by Marek, but he's already found that 1 frag as well. Brings into a 5 versus 4 advantage for his team, but through the smoke they will go. Zine crouching through. By the looks of things, going to drop a smoke or a flash into CT and drop down. There he goes. And Fashits is ready for it. That's a crucial frag.
Very, very critical. Now with 30 seconds on the clock, MVP are going to be hurried for time. Spammed through. Glow down very low. This is a pretty good crossfire. But the A side's open.
B, but they did manage to get the 1 frag on A.
Well, bomb will go down at least for MVP. But this is fairly unwinnable round for Solo. And he peeks right into the line of Destroyer. If this round would have come previously, if Ehome would have won the last round, MVP would have been on a full reset. And it would be 14-12. And that's where I said I thought Ehome would just have a chance then. But now at 15-12, I don't know. It just feels like MVP manages to sneak away with a round just a little too often for Ehome to actually win this map.
Yeah, I mean, so far it's 10-2. So Ehome have had a great CT half, but unfortunately it's not been as good or as clean as they would have liked. It's just those few rounds slipping away that means they've now got to have a 13-2 half of their own to be able to take this one just to overtime, and then we've got to do the whole overtime shenanigans, endeavor, debacle, whatever you want to call it. MVP this time streaming over towards A. They've once again got a buy in hand, going fast once again. It worked for them the last time they won a round. They're going to see what they can do this time. As we know, okay, we thought about it, but we're going to do it again. Here we go. 1 player in pit already.
Maybe this is a better setup for Ehome. Insane, though, just not actually taking any shots back in the direction of MVP.
Trying to get away.
So this time Ehome have given up control of long, in a sense. They've at least allowed MVP out.
And they're playing this bait and switch setup at car that I mentioned before. That's a really difficult spot for Marek to be, though, because he's AWPing. Like, if he had a rifle there, he could just be playing a bait and switch for long, but as it is, instead, what he's got to do is hope that Insane can hold off short and just try and do whatever he can. Insane's going to not quite find that frag. I thought that one he had for sure, but
yeah, a bit of a whiff.
Somehow Zine trades it back. Now lots of pressure on these CTs over on A, but MVP still haven't decided where they're going just yet. Does look like it'll be A based on their current positioning, but not much utility to work with, and they look like they want to do a bit of a short attack, keeping the pressure on from long, where Glow is just popping up and down. He only has the UMP, so his job here is not to fight, it's to distract.
He definitely is distracting, but Ehome still wary of what could be coming on short, and Fashits is having a look there. So too is Marek. Glow will take the opportunity to sneak out of pit. In mid, Destroy misses a shot. And here comes the important moments. Marek somehow missing Glow there coming up
like
from
this.
Pid, and Glow gets 2 with the UMP. Must get killed here on the cross, but Destroyer with
Not
the
like
orb. Glow
this.
gets the shot. Ehome, it's just falling apart. They've missed so many critical opportunities in that round,
Oh,
and
not
Glow
like
finishes
that.
it off with the UMP. 2 kills, then picks up the orb, and MVP will force us through to Nuke. Ehome, they just did not have enough in that first half. I think if they would have gotten 4 or 5 rounds there, they probably could have brought that one back, but just not enough to play with, and MVP will finally stagger over the line there on Dust2.
Stagger is correct. They did eventually get there, but yeah, I think you're right there. If Ehome get 1 or 2 more rounds, get the 4 or 5 mark, I mean, they only got 2. It was a 13-2 half. Even like 11-4, which is still not a good half at all, would have been so much better given how they started on their CT side, but it was just too little too late. MVP put on a bit of a clinic on that CT side eventually, despite it being super messy at the start. Like, we'll see in these opening rounds just how many players they're losing despite still getting the wins across, but nonetheless, they do still get the win. My only thought is, coming into Nuke, right, MVP could have just straight up steamrolled Nuke if they'd won this 16-2, 16-4, 16 single digit, anything, right? But because Ehome got such a good comeback going on, even though they did eventually let it slip, there's still a lot of momentum that's going to be in the Ehome guys' head, right? They're not just like, okay, we won map 1, then we got steamrolled, now reset. They're thinking, okay, we won map 1 and almost made a 13-2 comeback work on map 2. They've got to be feeling okay at least heading into Nuke.
Yeah, I don't know though. I mean, Ehome have never really been solid on Nuke, and MVP have certainly. Here on Dust2, we've kind of got the situation where both teams are a little bit antsy on Dust2, but I think that MVP should be pretty comfortable heading onto Nuke. We'll see though when we do get onto there. A lot could come down to who gets the pistol round, starts on the CT side. Obviously here on Dust2, the CT side was quite strong indeed for both teams. I kind of feel for Ehome a little bit there because, but for a couple of missed shots in that round, we definitely could have seen another couple more play out. I mean, there was a lot of 50-50 rounds there in that second half that actually did go the way of MVP. Both of the rushes, if it was not for maybe one flashbang there onto Slowly on the B bomb side as the rush was coming out onto B, he could have probably shut down that one from MVP. Over on Long, I think that one was just a little bit more crazy, and no one from Ehome could really get themselves settled and pose. If they didn't try to take control of that area of the map for Ehome, if they would have just played back in the site, had an AWP set up on A, again, like, it could have been a different result, but 16-12 is where we're at. I think it was a closer map than actually the 16-12 scoreline would show, because MVP just didn't have enough faith or any faith in them at all in that second half to close things out.
I barely had faith in them in the first half. No. It was the closest 13-2 I've ever seen. Like, they didn't get their economy established, I would say, for like 8 rounds at least. Like the first 5 or 6, even though they won the majority, if not all, they still were losing 3 to 4 players every single round.
Definitely. So a bit of a break here to come up, but maybe time for MVP to jump back in and those ESEA servers and figure out what was going on. Like, I mean, some of the aim wasn't quite on point there. Even the same can be said for Ehome at the end of that half as well. Like, just like every possible chance wasn't taken there for Ehome, but maybe we'll see something crazy happening here on Nuke. Like, it could end up being, I think, maybe even a pretty quick map out from MVP if they start off on the CT side.
If they start off well. I mean, that's the thing, though. We've had the 2 map picks. We've had the teams picking sides. Now we knife for sides. So we'll have to see. I mean, MVP, of course, will be hoping to grab that and start in the CT.
Yeah, they certainly will, but we're going to find out whether or not they will be. First, though, we are going to head to a break. Don't go anywhere, though. Map 3 coming up very soon.